Here we go. Going early tonight. Anthony's got some family stuff to take care of, so we moved our live show up so we can give you our Thursday night preview as well as touch on all the games that going on this week. Anthony's on fire, reminds me every day. Hey, I'm above 50%. Hey, I'm top 10 in tally site.
That's right. You got country. To, right?
Yeah.
Top 10, reach the top 10 again in tally site overall for the entire season. That's 10 weeks in now. 9 in the books. We're in week 10. 9 in the books, and I am number 9 overall on tally site. Yeah. That's pretty darn good.
And everyone's like, what the hell is tally site and why do we care? Well, tally site really, it just tracks your picks, right? And Anthony does pick every single game and every single over-under. Right. It's not just like he picks 6 teams or whatever. But it compares you to other analysts out there. I think there's 400 on the list. So it's not every analyst, but it's, vast majority,
From all walks of life.
Right. So if you consider yourself a football podcaster, or even there's some professional people on there from ESPN, Mike Florio from NBC Sports is on there. It puts you in a ranking on how well you're picking, right? Which I think is great because a lot of it is luck. But you got to put yourself in a position to be lucky, right? So
that's right. Mike Florio, by the way, Mike Florio is number 24 on the season, and I'm number 9.
Good.
So,
right. But when you wear the title and you have a big audience, like it's the pressure's on, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I forget her name, but she works for ESPN. And she calls herself a betting analyst. Like the pressure's on if you're putting the title out there that says betting analyst. Here at the Hoof, Anthony wears that title, but he handles the pressure well.
I guess so. Right. Yeah. We've been consistently now for 3 seasons that I've been doing this on Daily Site, and really 4 that we've been making our picks. And I've done pretty well over the years, actually. So
right. At what point? What point do you graduate though with picks? Look, if you have 3 good seasons as a betting person, and you're betting every game, you can't just pick, the good teams. You can't pick Kansas City every week and call yourself a betting analyst. Every single game, every single over-under, game against the spread, obviously. That's a lot, but if you've been literally between 40 and 60% for 3 straight years.
Yeah, handling it.
I think that's how you graduate. How long do you have to do that before you can wear that title?
Right. It's betting analyst professional now because I have at least 3 years of experience with a proven track record.
Right. / doctor. Right.
Yeah, that's right. Doctor betting analyst.
Yeah. That helps. So, what do you need? More data sheets? Like, the thing that's funny about data in football is it's finite, right? It's like there's only 32 teams. There's only X amount of games. So, like, there's only so much data, right? So
True.
You can, to become a betting analyst,
depends on how you interpret it.
Set of data, right?
Of course, it's more about the data. The thing that I always take is how I feel about it, right? Like if I think this team is hot and that team isn't, or those types of things that are intangible and not on the paper matter as well when you're making your picks. As anybody who's watched me make my picks over the years would definitely attest to, it's not always just about, although there is the data to back it up. There's always a reason, a rational, very explainable, very
and that's what it's there for,
tangible reason.
You're not going to be able to predict football statistically ever, unless you pay the refs, which, that's probably the only way, but like it's there as a tool to back up your arguments, to back up your feelings,
Certainly. And that's why being just at 60% is miraculous, right?
Yeah.
Miraculous. If you're at 60%, that's unbelievably well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at 37% on the season.
Oh man. Is it?
I was 56 last year. I say that every
That's not bad.
Reestablish my credibility, but you're going to have down years in this. I'm back to flipping a coin. Why didn't I just flip a coin in the beginning? Why shouldn't I flip a coin, Anthony?
50-50 chance with the coin, but the coin would have to be weighted in terms of, is this Philly versus, the bottom feeding team? Is this the Bills versus with Josh Allen versus,
it's funny,
some bottom feeding team?
I was looking at a couple teams real quick because I don't want to get too far into this. We get us off track. The Eagles haven't really beat any good teams.
That's right. Yeah,
Dallas might be their best team they've beaten.
And that was with the
I'm not trying to take credit away from them because it's hard to win every week, right, in the NFL. But yeah, are they 8-0 or 9-0 now? I have to look. Eagle is our 8-0.
8-0, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let me pull up the schedule here. We got the Lions week 1. They beat the Vikings. Give them credit for that. The one loss to the Vikings is from the Eagles. Commanders, Jaguars, Cardinals, Cowboys, which I mentioned, probably their biggest win. Steelers, Texans, and now they got the Commanders again on Monday night.
Listen, this is why I was so high on this team coming into the season. I looked at their schedule. I said they're going to win 10 games easily. They're going to win the division easily. And that's where they're headed right now. And the same could be said, by the way, about the Minnesota Vikings and their schedule. Right. They've lost one to the Eagles, who we just talked about, and yet their schedule is also kind of a cakewalk so far. And now they're playing the Bills this week, who are banged up and might not have Josh Allen, which obviously would certainly sway the potential outcome there.
And like the dust has to settle every year with the NFL, because like the Vikings beat the Packers week 1, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's their division. They finally did that." But then now we know the Packers weren't that good. They're not that good, right? And that could be the same could be said for the Cardinals, who the Vikings beat, right? The Dolphins. I think they had the 3rd string quarterback when the Vikings played the Dolphins. But yeah, the Vikings as well. They got the Lions, Saints, Bears as wins. They lost to the Eagles, and mentioned the Packers already, and they just beat the Commanders last week. So the Bills are their biggest challenge. The Bills have beat good teams.
Exactly. Playoff
Baltimore,
teams. Kansas top City, teams in the AFC, all of them.
Yeah. So you could argue the Bills are battle tested, right? Compared to these NFC teams that have good records.
Yeah, and we knew that just in general, thinking AFC, NFC. The NFC is a train wreck. The AFC has a lot of good teams, and there's going to be good teams that miss the playoffs in the AFC and bad teams that make it in the NFC. So it's completely backwards this year. Some years it's different, but this year I don't think anybody would argue, even the teams in the NFC.
And the Bills beat the Titans. Remember that?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Division winner, Baltimore potential division winner. It's
Tua got hurt in the Bills game, right?
Well, he stayed though. He was out for like a minute before halftime, and then he came back.
Right. So they beat Miami, or they lost to Miami by 2, but they were in the game to win. Miami's been blowing people out too. So
the Jets' loss was really the worst game of the season by far. So I mean, the Bills are proven for sure, more proven than any team in the NFL. Right now, I'd say.
Check on the Chiefs.
Even Kansas City, their division looked so monstrous to begin the year, and now it looks like a friggin' cakewalk.
Right.
Versus the AFC East, which was supposed to be one of the easier divisions. Yeah. Now that is the toughest division in football. Record
their biggest win,
playing wise.
Yeah. Their biggest win's probably San Francisco at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because they beat them by so much.
And that was injuries for San Francisco racked up for that game.
Right, and in San Francisco, we talked about, they're not even really designed to play the Chiefs.
Yeah, different game.
It's just not a good matchup through the scheme or the style of play. But Tennessee, they also beat them, but again, backup quarterback. Like the Bucs. The Chiefs beat the Bucs. I think the Bucs are decent, but really, they haven't been playing well at all this year.
That's right. They're not a good team.
So yeah, interesting. But when you talk about weight, that's what you talk about, strength of schedule, right? It's just that's impossible to predict. What team's going to show up today? You just can't predict that. Although you beat, the Bills beat Baltimore, Kansas City, all these good teams, you have no idea how they're going to play this weekend. You know what I mean?
We'll see. And this matchup is one that people are going to draw too many conclusions from, whether Josh Allen plays or not, right? A hurt Josh Allen plays, and maybe the Bills win against Minnesota, and everybody's going to say, oh, look, the Bills are better than Minnesota. Or if Case Keenum gets the start and the Bills win that game, people are going to say, well, Minnesota isn't who we thought they were, and they're clearly not good enough. Or if Minnesota wins, oh, the Bills aren't as good as Minnesota, when clearly that's not the answer. So people will make their own conclusions regardless, and based on the outcome, without actually thinking about the context of the games. And like you're saying, the whole schedule in general and where these teams are in the standings doesn't necessarily reflect how good of a team they compare to the others that are making the playoffs.
Makes sense. All right, let's get into your pick six. best bets of the week.
Here we go. Right here.
Dallas number 1.
Yes, exactly. Right. So this one was, again, the one that I looked at all of the lines and I said, what the heck is going on here? The Dallas Cowboys are only a 5-point favorite against the Green Bay Packers, one of the worst teams in football. I mean, come on. Dallas is playing really good football. They're coming off their bye. They have probably Zeke Elliott's going to be back, right? They have 2 running backs who are playing extremely well. They've got their wide receivers going. They got Dak Prescott back, who's only building up after coming back from the injury. I don't understand this at all. I do not know what savior is coming for Green Bay. Nobody is there right now. Who's your savior? Alan Lazard? You just lost Dubes. Granted, he wasn't playing elite level wide receiver play, but you lost him. Watson's still hurt. I mean, there's so much going on in Green Bay. Their defense is okay, but it's not good enough. They're certainly vulnerable, and especially against a team like Dallas who loves to run the ball, they're going to have monstrous plays against them. I think Dallas wins this game by 20 points. So a -5 is just absolutely not right to me. And easy big bet of the week this week. I told you before, I already put $100 on it because I was afraid the line was going to change. So I'm like, hey, I'm betting this game right here, right now, while the line is -5, because it might change more in favor of Green Bay, meaning -7, -10. I wouldn't be surprised if it heads in that direction before kickoff.
Yeah, and you got Tennessee at 2. You trust Malik Willis? Or are we going Ryan Tannehill here?
I don't trust Malik Willis. I don't think he needs to be present, right? Malik Willis is the starter for this game, but it doesn't matter, right? They're playing, number one, they're playing the Broncos, okay? So even if the Tennessee Titans refuse to show up on the field, the Broncos might muster up 10 points of offense, right? So with the Tennessee Titans on the field, I think they could do a lot better. The Broncos defense is good. We know that. And they've been playing well all year, but the offense is stagnant and isn't good. So I think Tennessee has the ability to pound the rock with Derrick Henry, do what you need to do. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker. Malik Willis just has to be living, breathing on the field, hand the ball off, and make a few screenplays, right? And maybe run the ball himself a couple times to mix it up a little bit. And that's why they're going with him over Tannehill, because I don't see it as an upgrade at all. So I fully expect the Titans to win by 3 points, if not more, a few more. I don't expect this to be a very high-scoring game, but Titans should definitely be able to pull it off by a field goal. So that's why they're my number 2. They're playing another team that just can't score, and even though they put it together a little better last time, it just didn't work out for them.
All right, yeah, and you're going number 3, the Saints at the Steelers. Are we going to have this conversation again? Really?
Yes, we are, buddy, because you got to look at the matchup, right? The Saints are playing the Steelers, and the Steelers have not been playing well, although their defense has been putting it together. They do have some pieces on offense. They can't run the ball. I just think that playmaking-wise, the Saints can make plays, big plays, and put up big points. And the Steelers, even on their best day, I don't think they can. So this game might be close, might go back and forth, but in the end, the Saints are the better team, and they're going to win by at least 3 points, if not more. So give me the Saints as my number 3 bet of the week. Again, I know, much to your dismay, Eric, but they're playing the Steelers team that I just don't think is playing with an intent to win games at this point. Yeah. They'll be competitive, but I don't think they have the drive or the determination to win.
I think the wheels are falling off the Saints already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rumors of Al Kamara being traded. Michael Thomas out for the year again. We can't find a quarterback that won't throw an interception. Lead the league in penalties, lead the league in turnovers. You just can't. I think they're actually 3rd in turnovers now. But yeah, Saints are not good. 49ers at number 4.
They're playing
4,
a less
49ers.
Good team, and that's all that matters, right? They're not good, but they're playing a very not good team. So not 49ers good very not good.
Versus Chargers. That's a California matchup, tough one.
Big time
Chargers,
California
Chargers
matchup.
Been underwhelming, but they're still in the mix here.
San Francisco. So the Chargers are still banged up. They've got who knows which receivers are going to play. Palmer was their number 1 versus the Falcons, and they barely pulled out that one. But San Francisco, I think they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. They trade for Christian McCaffrey. He's the difference maker for them now. They are going to start building in the right direction, going into playoffs and all the way, to the NFC Championship game. They're going to try and get there, right? So their momentum is building right now like a train. They're getting defensive players back and healthy, and they're playing a Chargers team that's still banged up. If these two teams were at 100% health completely as they're built right now, I would still probably take San Francisco -6 in this game. Their defense is really good. Their offense is really good now that they've traded for McCaffrey, and they can, use those passing weapons a little better because they have that big threat run. They're just better all around, I think, than the Chargers, and the Chargers have continued to disappoint this season, even when they're healthy. Now they're more banged up on offense. It gets harder, especially against this team in coverage. They're not going to be able to pass the ball well. Give me the San Francisco -6. I think they win by at least 10.
Yeah, San Francisco's been playing well on defense. They have the least amount of yards allowed in the league. Keep in mind, bye weeks are part of that. The teams that have had bye weeks have more yards. Or I'm sorry, teams who haven't had a bye week have more yards. But currently, San Francisco's sitting at the top.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one, Miami again.
Yeah,
starting to get more confident with Miami week in, week out.
I'm telling you, though, they've let me down a couple of times. But here's the thing. These top 4 teams this week, I feel pretty comfortable with. I was very happy. I went through initially, bam, 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 bam. Those were the 4 I really liked. These last 2, although I like them and I put them in my pick 6, not as confident as those top 4. Okay, so Miami, taking them at -3.5, my fear is they're going to put up the friggin' stinker on defense that they did against the Bears, allow the Browns to hang in this one and score points, and then all of a sudden they only win by 3. And all anybody ever sees is, oh, Miami won by 3, but they blew the line because the line is 3.5. They're playing at home this week. They have to make a statement. Their offense has been clicking. Again, everybody wants to talk about Tyreek Hill getting 100 yards and Waddle getting 100 yards. Great, but you have to be able to put opponents away. You can't just score, and then give up a million points too. That's not a winning formula. So in this game against the Browns, I expect that they're finally going to put a little bit of something together to win by more than 3 points and maybe win by 10 points, against the Browns, who they're clearly the better roster than overall right now. But I expect Nick Chubb to get his carries and score as well. I just don't think it's going to be enough to get over this Dolphins team at home. So give me the Dolphins -3.5.
All right. And the last one, Monday Night Football, the Commanders at the Eagles, +10.5. You're taking the Commanders as a confident bet.
Again, anytime there's a crooked number, a 10, you have to look at that and go, okay, why is this a 10, right? And yes, the Washington Commanders were terrible to start the season, but the last 2 games, they've really been hanging in there. They've been playing better football, much stronger defense, much better offense with Taylor Heineke at the helm. I think that continues into this game against a divisional opponent. We constantly preach about how divisional matchups are tough. They tend to be closer matchups, even though the Eagles are on fire and they're 8-0. I think that the Eagles win this game, but not by 10.5 points. I think it's maybe 4 to 6 points. So 10.5, even if they win by 10, you win this bet. So that's why I had to include the Commanders as my number 6 bet of the week, because I think the way they're playing, the momentum they bring into this game, they're going to keep it close versus Philly because they want to versus this divisional opponent. They know each other well, and that's going to play into a closer game. So give me the Commanders with the 10.5.
Tyler Heineke, starting to believe.
Mm-hmm. He just plays better. The offense has been better. The defense has been better.
Yeah, makes sense. This is also the first week you haven't had a Bills or Vikings logo on this.
Is it the first week? 6. Yeah. Well, they had the bye. So. They both had the same bye week, so I didn't have either team that week. But but you're right. They play each other this week, and that matchup, as we will discuss, has a lot too much undecided about it. Right? Yeah. We don't know who's playing.
Decide not to touch that.
Yeah, you just can't.
All right, so let's get into Thursday Night Football, divisional matchup, Atlanta at the Carolina Panthers. Do we know who's playing quarterback for Carolina?
We don't.
DJ
I don't think they've
so bad he got benched for Baker. We saw Baker.
Sam Darnold's back this week.
I've heard Sam Darnold rumors, but we don't even know who's playing quarterback, which is usually a bad sign. So do you instantly, just because of that, go with the Falcons?
Not just because of that, but certainly I'm going with the Falcons tonight. I think the Falcons are playing well, right? They're playing competitively in every game this season, just about, and keeping it close and winning some games. And not too long ago, they were in the division lead. And I think they get back on track tonight against a team that, as we know, gave up on the season when they traded away a bunch of their pieces, but is still fighting, right? They're still fighting. So I although I think Carolina will score some points and stay competitive, Atlanta needs this game, and they're going to play like it and put up more of the fantasy points and the, style points and everything else. So that's why I like the Falcons in this one to win by more than 2.5. So give me the Falcons minus 2.5. And the over for this game, because I do think both teams are capable of putting points up. I just don't think Carolina can hang with the combination of run and pass and weapons that the Falcons have now.
Yeah, Falcons, they're top 10 in scoring percentage. I mean, they score points on their drives, right? It's a good stat. And then they're top 10 in points per game, at 9th at 24.1. So big improvement to their offense with Marcus Mariota and Arthur Smith teaming up. They're moving the ball, right? And I think Cordell Patterson, who was out for a long period of time, the backups came in as Algier and Huntley. They played pretty well, right?
Yep.
But having Patterson back, I think is huge for them. How come this guy didn't play running back his whole career?
I know, right?
He's like a kick returner at first for Chicago, right? But yeah, I think that's a lot to deal with if you're a defense, right? Cordell Patterson can do it all, and he's so explosive. It's a lot to handle.
Agree.
And they're doing all that without using Kyle Pitts at all.
I know, and he's been quiet, right? They're probably their best player coming into the season, or the one that people highlighted the most, and yet he's been quiet all year. And I think they need to get him more involved, and this could be one of those games where they start to. And I don't know if it's just the chemistry between him and Mariota isn't there, or is just him not getting open as much, or double coverage.
Right? They're using him, but in other ways, right? He gets a lot of attention. Right. And the time that you stop doubling him or paying attention to Kyle Pitts, he's going to burn you. And I think teams know that. So teams just constantly let them run, right?
Exactly.
Or let them, whatever the alternative is.
I think
I don't know. Okay. Charlotte Observer 2 days ago, McAdoo says quarterback decision was Wilkes' choice. We don't know who the quarterback is. Sam Darnold returns is a ESPN headline, but I think that means return from injury.
The headline on ESPN is Walker and Panthers look to bounce back.
Okay, here it is.
So
Steve Wilkes' decision to start PJ Walker at quarterback against the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday. McAdoo was clear on Tuesday that the choice would go with Walker. Came down to Wilkes having the final say. I'm looking for something that says short leash, because that's So it looks like it's going to be PJ Walker again. He gets a redemption chance, which I think you got to see what you got. We know what Sam Darnold is. We know what Baker is. This PJ Walker, though, like we've seen some pretty explosive plays from him.
Yeah, and the team has played
Why
better
not go with
him,
that?
Other than last week when he kind of faltered a little, but everybody's going to have a bad game. So,
just last couple.
Got
points
nothing
here.
to lose.
Do you want to see more Sam Darnold for Carolina? Do you think?
I mean, I don't think there's a reason
there, or is it time to just ship him out? He's a backup. He'll be a backup in the league the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a reason to at this point for them. They have no incentive to do that, right? He's going to be gone at the end of the season. You've got to figure out what you got in-house coming up and moving forward. So I don't think so. But
okay, how about Baker Mayfield? Have we seen enough of him in Carolina? Do you want to ship him out?
We've seen enough of him. I saw enough of him before he was ever drafted. So yeah, you guys should have consulted with me, NFL people, because I knew better than you, apparently, and that he was overrated and could not do the things that an NFL quarterback needed to do and could not shoulder the burden and know how to lead a team because he's all about himself and doesn't care about anybody else. And that's why. So, yeah, I've seen enough Baker a long time ago.
Whew. Okay, some hate in there. So, but do you think he gets a backup job somewhere? Or do you think he's considered a starter? Another starting chance anywhere?
His ego might not let him be a backup somewhere, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with some of that stuff. Look, ego and stuff's fun when you're winning. When you're losing, it's bad. It just turns south.
But you look at a guy like Josh Allen. He talks shit on the field, but he proves it. He backs it up. Yeah,
he wins. Yeah,
exactly. Right. He backs it. He doesn't say anything bad off the field about anybody. So you can't.
If the Bills only won 2 games, we'd be talking so bad about Josh Allen right now.
Right, but he blames himself, and even after the games he lost, he blames himself. Baker Mayfield doesn't do that. Oh, that guy didn't catch my pass. Oh, this, that, and the other thing. He's so selfish. I hate it.
All right, I'm going Atlanta. On the road here, I think Atlanta knows this is another important game, neck to neck with the Bucs. You got to win, stay alive here. So, and I'm going under. These Thursday night games just don't score points normally. A couple games have, but this one I don't think will.
Yeah, one thing I do like about that Carolina team is the emergence of their wide receiver, Terrence Marshall Jr., who was a favorite of mine coming out of that draft and finally getting the chance to shine there with a big game last week. I think he could put up some numbers today too, because really he's their best weapon at this point on that side of the ball as a wide receiver. So look for him to do something if you want to start him in fantasy this week. But I still think the Falcons are going to win big.
Okay, so we're agreeing. So they're under or over for you?
I'm on the over. I do think even though it's a Thursday game, both these teams are going to find a way to exploit each other's defenses and put up points.
PJ Walker has something to prove, but I just think Atlanta dominates and it's a quick, 28-7. That's what I'm thinking. All right, let's go to Munich, Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Seattle 6-3. I want to say at Tampa, but their neutral site, Munich.
Yeah, Tampa's technically the home team. Tampa
also not Berlin, which is interesting. I don't know why they chose Munich. Must be
where the stadium is that they could use. So
right, or people there watch the NFL.
Could be.
Anyway,
too.
Yeah, Seattle has +3 against Tampa Bay. Under over set at 44.5. What are we thinking here?
Yeah, although Tampa Bay came back and finally had the win that I said they were going to have, that would be the momentum changer to start them building in the right direction. You can't pick against Seattle right now. They are doing everything right. And look at this team, right? What do they do well? They run the ball well. They've got deep threat receivers. Geno's playing very clean football, not making a lot of big mistakes. Tampa's defense has been exploited. Their offense has not been able to put it together. Even in the game they won last week, it was on a last-second drive. I don't think Seattle's going to give them that opportunity. Their run game is too strong. Kenny Walker's going to have 200 yards from scrimmage in this game, I just think that this is still not a good matchup for the Tampa Bay Bucs, the way that they're playing and the way that Seattle's playing right now. So getting points in this game, I can't pick against Seattle. They're the better team right now. They're playing better football. Unless you want to count 20 seconds of football at the end of a game against a crap Rams team. Right. Seattle is by far the better performer here. And that's why I'm taking Seattle. And I do think it'll be under total, right? Neither team is going to put up a huge number of points, I don't think, against each other. Even though Seattle's defense, they've been playing better the past few games, so we can't even call them one of the worst defenses anymore. So give me the under and give me Seattle +3. I just think you can't pick against them right now, even though Tampa needs the momentum.
Yeah, Tampa, they're not going to make mistakes, right? Tom Brady, only 1 interception on the season. Least amount of interceptions on the whole league, right? So, Seattle, again, well-coached team. They don't make a lot of mistakes either. So it really it comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. The difference is, like you mentioned, Seattle can run the football and Tampa Bay simply cannot. Do we see a spark in Tampa because of the drive or whatever? Maybe, but I think it's unlikely at this point. Your spark doesn't come when you're traveling internationally to Munich, Germany, right? It's a lot going on.
That's right.
But, it's disruptive.
Tough to change that. Yeah.
For sure. So I'm going to go Seattle as well here. Take the +3. And I'm going to go over 44.5. But important game for the Bucs here. But I just like Seattle better right now. Like the momentum. All right, let's get into it. Minnesota, 7-1, travels to Buffalo to face former Vikings, Stephon Diggs, maybe Case Keenum.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe. Josh Allen not practicing this week, got a UCL injury. So if he doesn't go, what are we thinking?
I'm thinking the Bills need to sign another quarterback because who's the third guy after that? McKenzie? I don't know. Yeah, right. You got to have a backup quarterback if Josh Allen's inactive, or maybe they'll keep him active and just keep him as the emergency quarterback. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, you shouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole right now because we have no idea what's going to happen We don't know if Josh Allen's playing. The point spread has been all over the place, starting from -7, -8, down to now -3.5 for Buffalo. Buffalo's playing at home. They're undefeated at home. That has to play into factor here. Minnesota has not played against tough competition. We talked about that at the beginning. I'm still taking Buffalo -3.5 because we have to make a pick here.
Right.
And I think that I'm going to take the over with the points because even though the Bills play good defense and they're playing at home, Minnesota's offense, Cook, and those weapons that they got, I think they're going to put up a number of points. And I could see this being a close game that's like, 24-21 or 24-20. And that's just enough to get to the over for this one. So give me the Bills -3.5. And, it's going to be tight. And again, keep this one off your radar gambling wise, at least, unless you're at the last minute and you feel confident that Josh Allen's playing or, Case Keenum and Diggs are going to light up the Minnesota defense, but certainly that could change the outcome.
Right. So a couple questions. Who can guard Justin Jefferson for the Bills?
Yeah.
Two backup safeties.
Mm-hmm.
You have Christian Benford, who's been pretty much the starter, right?
Mm-hmm.
A 6th-round pick. We'll probably see Trey White in this game back.
I certainly hope so, right? That's the question now. Do you bring Trey White back? Yes. And we didn't even talk about Matt Milano, right? If he's out, well, the whole defense sits on the bench. So apparently Matt Milano is the key to the whole defense. So if he's out again, which he shouldn't be because I believe he practiced in full today, although he did last Friday as well, and they still made him out for the game.
But it's more like
held him out for the game. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that could change the momentum here, including the return of Trey White.
Right.
Trey White could shut down Jefferson, and that is what we expect when Trey White is healthy and playing at his best. But if this is his first game of the season, you have to imagine that he's not going to be out there every snap.
Right. I'm trying to see what is Minnesota good at. They seem middle of the road in everything.
They're not.
They have a great running back, but they're 25th in rushing. They did have the bye week. That is a factor here, but they're still towards the bottom of the league. So what are they good at?
Not a lot. I mean, they just do everything okay, right? And that's why they're a good team.
They're
okay on defense. They're okay on passing. They're okay on rushing. They're okay on the D line. They're okay on the O line. I don't think they do anything stupendously, but that's what makes them a good team. Every other team, you can look at holes and say, here's where the holes are. On this team, you can't look at any one position, I don't think, and say, here's where we can exploit them or here's where the weakness is, because they're kind of just good at everything. And although they do have a starting cornerback who's out for this game, and if Josh Allen's playing or if Case Keenum, really, they're going to exploit that position for sure. And I'm sure Diggs will line up on that side to give him a run, and be able to make some big plays. Don't forget that Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs have plenty of experience together either. So even if Case plays, that's why I'm still comfortable taking the Bills -3.5.
That's probably why they signed Case Keenum, right?
Exactly.
But Minnesota, they're top 10 in rushing defense. They're 25th in pass defense.
Yes. So that's where
they did have their bye week. So yeah, just seems like balance. But if Josh Allen plays and he's 75% healthy, it sounds like the Bills could win in the pass game.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I want to ask you about this game, then we'll move on. If you're Sean McDermott, what's the strategy? What is the risk of Josh Allen getting a re-injury during this game? Is it would you play the safe card and just bench him to be safe for the future? Well, I think they're sitting at the top of the AFC right now.
Yes.
If Kansas City has Jacksonville, so let's say Buffalo loses, Kansas City wins, they'll flip-flop. Baltimore's third at 6-3. Buffalo would be in second place at that point. Is that the worst thing ever, though? I think the Bills could play because you have to bet the Chiefs will lose another game, right? At some point.
Probably, yeah.
And then is having the 2 seed the worst thing ever if Kansas City's won? As long as Kansas City's won, you're safe because you're going to play, if you win your playoff games, 2 home playoff games before you get a chance to even play Kansas City in the championship game.
I'm just sick of playing them on their turf, right? That's why I think they need to come to Buffalo and get the reality check, because we've been hanging with them in their house and beating them in their house and, keeping it close in the playoff game, a ridiculous playoff game in their house. They have to come to Buffalo and play. And then we'll see who the real man is, right? Because sure, you can hang and do all that in your home turf, but what can you do when you're on the road in Buffalo? And that's what I want to see happen. And if I'm making the decision, you have to have all the information on the health of Josh Allen, obviously. What is the percentage of chance that he's going to re-aggravate it? How much is this affecting him? How does Josh feel on a day-to-day basis? If he says, I feel better today than I did yesterday, that's a good sign to me. If he says, I feel like I can release the ball okay, as long as I don't get hit, I'm okay, then I play him. Then you're going out there. Get out there and play. We can't play this conservative, well, we don't want you to get hurt 2 weeks from now, so we're going to let you heal more now so that 2 weeks from now you're even better. No, that's bullshit. Then don't play the game. Then send him home, okay? Because this is football in the NFL, and that's how it works. Now, if he's hurt and it is the point where it's affecting his throwing, it's affecting the way he plays the game, it's affecting him mentally or physically or whatever, because he's thinking about it, then you need to make the decision for the football team. Okay, it's better for us if you sit out this game because you are not 100% and you can't play to your ability, and you will be a liability to this team if you are on the field. That's a big step, right, from Josh Allen. Is he going to be a liability on the field? I don't think so. So I start Josh Allen and take with the understanding that, hey, you have to avoid getting hit on that elbow. So you might need to throw it away a lot faster, and you need to be aware of that, right?
Yeah, and I don't think it'd be the worst thing ever if they said, you know what, Josh, go ahead and sit down. Because, hear me out, because Minnesota's an NFC team. Odds are you'll probably lose if Josh Allen doesn't play. Let's get real. But there's a chance you could win, right? And you're a hero. Yeah, we forget about it and move on with our lives.
6-0 at home.
The big thing is you got Cleveland the following week, and then you got a quick turnaround Thursday night Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
Let Josh rest so he can play those 2 games. They have the long week to prepare for New England. I think that 3-game stretch is much more important than a loss to Minnesota. He could play and they could still lose. Now it's a lose-lose situation.
I don't know. That's not my mentality. I can't say that. No. Don't sit him out.
It's definitely a factor. You got to play the long game here,
The long game. What does that even mean?
That means
the long game. Then bench Josh Allen week 1, and then week 16 make him play. Week 17, week 18.
No.
Bench him.
No.
Oh, we got to play the long game.
Josh needs to play in late January and February.
Yeah, so why not play? So don't play him from September to December. Play him a couple of games in December and then go into January.
Sure, if you could lock up the 1 seed.
And then you could you can get the playoffs. That's what you're saying. All the Bills need to do is make the playoffs, and then Josh Allen can play football. No, that's not how football works.
But you got to play your situation week by week. The only thing you could really give up is you're swapping one seed for 2.
Let me be clear. I'm talking about what I would do. This is Sean McDermott. He's the most conservative as conservative gets, period. Right? I blame him for losing last week. You benched Matt Milano when he probably could have played. Why? Because you're conservative as conservative gets, and you don't want Matt Milano to get hurt worse. I understand that. But if you play Milano, that game ends differently. Period. We win. Period. Your fault. If he could have played, and it was Sean McDermott's decision to hold him out just because, we lost that game because of Sean McDermott, and I feel the same way about Josh Allen. You need to play, if they're capable of playing, play them. You have to play them. I know there's risk. There's always risk. There's risk of a healthy player getting hurt. They still play. You got to play them. If he's capable of playing at that level and he's not a liability on the field, then you need to play him.
Who'd the Bills lose to in week 3?
Miami.
Right, but it doesn't matter anymore. We're weeks removed from that, It doesn't matter. What matters for this team is getting to the playoffs healthy and playing well in the playoffs.
No, what matters is getting home field advantage over the Chiefs so that they come to our house. And it's not going to, okay, so what? Josh Allen sits out 2 weeks and his elbow's feeling 80% instead of 50%? And then you're going to start him? Is that what you're saying? Or it's not like it's going away?
Give him the extra time to heal up so he can finish, don't risk it. Why risk it?
Again, different mentality.
Gotta play the long game.
Different
anyway,
mentality.
Let's move on. Very next important game for the Bills fans.
Yeah.
Jacksonville at Kansas City.
Give me a fucking break here, right?
Plus 9.5, though.
Yes, I do think this line is too much. Kansas City wins the game, not by 9.5. They haven't done that, right? Their last 2 games, they've been in competitive games. The teams could have beat them. I think Jacksonville does the same thing. Jacksonville has been capable of scoring points. Jacksonville has been capable of playing good defense. They're up and down, up and down. Kansas City will exploit Jacksonville in a number of ways. I just think 9.5 is too big of a number. Maybe a touchdown. Maybe that would convince me otherwise. But give me Jacksonville plus 9.5. I think Kansas City wins, and I think I took the over for this one. Oh, I took the under, actually, because Kansas City's offense has also been underperforming. Granted, they played a good Titans team. Jacksonville, again, is capable of playing good defense in that way. So I took the under, Kansas City to win, and Jacksonville with the points.
Yeah, Kansas City currently 30.4 points per game, number 1 in the league. And Jacksonville, 22 points a game, currently up, down. 18th. So, yeah, I'm going to go Kansas City. I don't think
minus 9.5. Okay.
Yeah. I look, Jacksonville can't play shot for shot with Kansas City.
Well, I agree with that, but I don't think they'll need to. Look, they'll do what Tennessee did. Stay close in the game.
I mean, that'd be nice, but sure. Trevor Lawrence, this could be his coming out game.
Oh, if he wins.
Right, but he hasn't played perfect. You know?
That's not going to happen.
You got to be able to push the ball down the field. You can't just play this conservative, I'll dump it off the Travis Etienne.
He hasn't done that against lesser opponents, so I don't think they'll do that here.
That's our only hope here. All right, moving on. Detroit at Chicago.
Yeah.
Detroit won last week.
Detroit did win last week. However, Chicago has really been putting it on the last couple of weeks. They've been putting it together offensively, defensively a little bit. They've traded away their defense, but they're playing better overall. The team is playing better. I think they're going to exploit that Detroit defense. So I like the Bears to win the game. I think this is a relatively high-scoring affair because both defenses have been vulnerable to giving up points, and both offenses are capable of scoring points. So I'm taking Chicago -3 and the over. I think Chicago wins in a high-scoring game. Probably a fun football game to watch, despite the records of both of these teams.
Fair, yeah. Detroit's given up 13 rushing touchdowns this season, and Justin Fields coming off a game with 178 rushing yards. On the same chart as Michael Vick. I can't remember the numbers, but that was a really great stat. He was like 4th ever, most rushing yards in a game. So
crazy.
That's a different level, right? That's not the Justin Fields that we saw early in the season.
Exactly. He's really stepped up the last couple of games. So we'll see.
Right. So yeah, I'll go Chicago at home. I think they are starting to catch some traction there, right? But I will go under on 48.5.
Both teams have been able to put up. That's why I think the over, but that's good. All right.
And that's probably why you're number 2 in the nation. And that's all right. Got to go with your gut sometimes, right? Cleveland at Miami.
Yep. Again, you already heard me talk about this one. I'm taking Miami -3.5. I'm also taking the over in this one. I think both teams are going to put points on the board, given that neither defense has been playing incredibly up to their abilities. Both of these defenses are good defenses. Neither has been playing like it. They've been giving up a lot of points. So that's why I'm taking the over. And hopefully Miami doesn't win by 3 points and piss me off again.
Yeah. And Miami right in the, they're neck and neck in the AFC East. They're 6-3. Jets are at 6-3. Bills 6-2. But New England's also 5-4. So you really can't afford to lose any game. So these teams got to lay it all out on the field. Whereas Cleveland, they're 2 or 3 games behind Baltimore. I think they lost to Baltimore, right? So they're 3 games behind Baltimore. That's just too much to overcome, right? So the momentum for Cleveland, I don't think will be there. So give me Miami. And again, I like the over for this one. Broncos at Titans.
Yeah, another one of my pick 6. Obviously, I'm on the Titans. It's -3 here. It was -2.5 earlier. Either way, I like the Titans. I think they win by probably more than that for sure. And I am taking the under just because I don't think either of these offenses are going to put up huge numbers. And like I said, the Broncos, you can't trust them at all, right? I just don't trust them at all. So give me the Titans -3 and the under.
Yeah, the Broncos just don't score a lot of points. They're averaging 15 points a game. 15.
Bad. And Tennessee is playing very good. Different. What did they allow? Like 20 points to the Kansas City last week? 20-something points?
Right. They played good defense last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Titans right there. 18.6 points a game. Still not great, but, man, Derrick Henry and Malik Willis, if they can get that zone read down, that is – I see danger there. I don't think Malik Willis can throw the ball at all.
Yeah, well, he hasn't proven that yet, but he doesn't have a lot to throw to on that Tennessee Titans team.
Yeah, he can be effective in the run game, and I think you can beat a team like Denver that way. Wear down that defense, right? And if anything we know about Denver is they're not going to do any. You're going to have your opportunities to get turnovers against the Broncos, meaning they're going to punt the ball a lot, right? So, so I like Tennessee. Under for sure.
Yeah,
under.
It sounds like we're both on the under for sure. Happy about the under.
All right, Saints at Steelers. Already touched on this one.
Yep. I'm taking the Saints.
You think this is a confident bet?
Yes, I do, because the Pittsburgh just hasn't been playing that well, right? And even though New Orleans hasn't either, they're the better team. They're the better roster. They're going to win this game, and this is basically a pick 'em. That's why the 1.5. And I did take the under for this game as well. Steelers and Saints haven't been putting up big numbers, but even if it's 24-16, that's still the under. So give me the Saints.
You know what I'm gonna say, right?
Saints are not a good team.
Okay. Well, this is interesting because
pick Saints, one. Steelers are not a good team either. You're picking the Steelers.
Saints lead the league in interceptions at 10. It's a 4-way tie. Patriots, Colts, Steelers, all tied. 10 interceptions on the season. Saints lead the league in fumbles lost at 7. It's a 5-way tie. Seattle, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, New England again, and the Saints. So turnovers on the season, Saints, Patriots, Colts, all tied. Buffalo's 4th.
Yeah, bad.
So Saints suck in that way. Penalties on the year, for a long time they led the league, but Saints they have 62 penalties on the year. It's 4th in the league. Yep. So, I don't pick the Saints for that reason. I think it's time. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's time for Kenny Pickett to win one. Like Najee Harris is getting semi-benched because he just hasn't been productive.
Terrible. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Not explosive. The offensive line's pretty weak there, I think. They're going through a rebuild. It's not the old offensive line that we're used to in Pittsburgh. Yep. So change of pace back. I think it's Huntley's coming in. That should hopefully that'll spark something for them.
Screen game and Elvin Kamara.
You can't have your rookie quarterback with an underwhelming arm throw the ball 60 times. You just can't. That's Pittsburgh's problem, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take them to change that up. All right, Sunday 1:00, Houston at the New York Giants. Giants coming off a bye. Houston coming off the Thursday night game last week.
Yeah, so both with a little more time to prepare.
Right.
The Giants have been playing good football and doing what it takes to win, period, end of story here, right? However, Houston has been hanging in games and been able to compete with teams. I like Houston with the points here. I think 5 is a little too high. Give me Houston +5, and I will take the Giants to win the game because the Giants will win by 3, by 4 maybe, 20-24, something like that. And give me the over because I do think that's about the score, 20-24. That would be 44 total. So Houston +5, though. I just saw this and I'm like, the Giants haven't really been putting away opponents. They've just been doing what it takes to win 3 points a game. And I think that continues to trend here.
Guess, where do you think the passing offense for the Giants is ranked?
Oh my gosh. Below middle of the pack.
They had a bye week.
So. Below middle of the pack for sure.
Okay. Yeah. What's your number?
I'd say halfway down. So
lower.
Out of 32, they're probably 22. Lower. Oh man, 24.
Lower.
28.
Lower.
32. Are they the worst?
They're 30th.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
They're ahead of Chicago and Tennessee.
Ooh,
which makes sense,
brutal.
Right? Chicago's really bad because they haven't had a bye yet.
Danny Dimes been able to run the ball, and so has Saquon, right?
Right. So now they're 6th in the league in rushing yards. So that's what they do, right? And that's what they're good at. But again, like you said, I don't think they're good at a lot, right? Saquon Barkley's phenomenal, no doubt. But they're playing smart football. They believe in the game plan.
They just do what they need to get the win. They're doing it without pressure, unlike a team like the Buffalo Bills, who everybody preseason picked them to win the Super Bowl. So the Giants are just out there doing what they need to do. Brian Daboll leading that team for sure.
Yeah. So I like the Giants.
Oh, you're taking
41.
Them? Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking them at home, coming off the bye, but they believe in the game plan. That's half the battle. Look at Miami the past few seasons. And mind you, they won 9 games last year, 10 the year before, but it was mostly defense buying into the game plan, right? Offense was not very good. coach comes in, everyone believes in the game plan. The whole thing's different, you know?
Yeah.
They
Damian Pierce playing very well. I think he still gets his play there in that game.
All right, a couple more here. We got the Colts, Jeff Saturday. What? At the Raiders.
The ESPN Jeff Saturday. Yeah, so the Colts, I mean, how can you trust them at all at this point, right? Even though they got a new coach, maybe that's the rallying cry they needed. The Vegas Raiders, however, they need to continue to say, look, what we've done is not who we are. We're going to show you who we really are. We've got Devontae Adams. We're going to use him to the best of his ability. So give me the Vegas Raiders here at -4.5. And I'll take the under in this game just because is Indy going to score at all? I mean, this has like 21-6 written all over it to me, or 24-6, still under. So give me the Raiders in the under.
And the Raiders released another first-round pick.
Yeah.
What is the deal with that? Can someone please explain leadership to me?
Yeah.
Why are you cutting all your former first-round picks? I don't understand.
They're just not.
Is it rebuild though? Like really though? Is it rebuild? Is it they're a pain in the ass? Did they ask you to leave? Like I don't understand.
You made a lot of bad mistakes, that's for sure.
That's
the only fact.
How? I mean, maybe they're not putting it on the field. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's just play. You're not NFL caliber, and we picked you in the first round.
I think
John. You're saying you don't even belong on this roster. Yeah, most of these picks were John Gruden picks, and that's not living up to
Mike
fruition.
Mayock is there, but Gruden's the one actually making the pick, right?
Right.
Anyway, I'm taking the Raiders because they got to win. I mean, their offense is explosive.
If they lose that game, everybody should be fired. Clear house.
Right. I think the Colts will have some good games under Jeff Saturday, right? He's one of the guys. He's one of the guys, right?
Yeah.
But I don't.
He's not going out there and suiting up, though. He's not playing quarterback. He's not playing offensive line.
You can't come off the street and will a team to a win in the NFL. Exactly. The Raiders have been playing in the same system. I don't even know
the guys yet. You don't even know that team yet.
So I think you'll see some ground and pound from the Colts, but I think it's not going to be this week.
Yep.
All right. Cardinals at Rams.
Big game this week. Yeah, tough one, right? Both are playing terribly. Both are not very happy with where they are in the season. And I'm picking the Rams -1.5. I think playing at home could be the difference here. The Cardinals certainly still dealing with injuries, and so are the Rams. But the Rams were right there with Tampa Bay. They needed that win too and didn't get it. And this is now a divisional game. This is basically whose season is over at this point. And I think the Rams, for that reason, are the ones to step up. I don't trust Kyler Murray. Stafford might be injured for this one. But I still think the Rams find a way to pull it out. So give me the Rams -1.5, basically a pick 'em, and give me the under in points because, again, I just don't trust either team here.
Yeah. Things are not okay with the Cardinals right now.
Yeah. They need to fire the coach too. That's a fire the coach.
Like, I don't know who's mic'd up, but I did see the clip where Hopkins is arguing with Kyler Murray. Like, what are you seeing? Why aren't you throwing me the ball?
Yep.
So, I mean, it seems like the team's starting to turn on Kyler Murray a little bit. Something's going on there. He's telling everybody each week it's somebody new. Calm down. But it's like, why is everyone giving you shit, Kyler? What are you doing?
Stop calming. Yeah.
So, but things are not okay in Arizona, right? I don't know. Do you re-sign Kyler Murray at this point? His contract's up this year, right?
No, he signed a new contract.
He signed. He did sign. That's right. He had
an extension, so he's getting paid the big bucks for a long time.
He got paid, and now you're losing. I mean, it's just
unless they have an out on that contract, which I don't think not usually
survives.
For quarterback.
Yeah,
the coach definitely does not survive.
But it's
if he loses this game, he might get fired. So
right,
it's season over. Season over at this point.
Interesting stuff. Crazy what a
Rams
difference a year makes. But yeah, I'll go Rams under again. Offenses aren't good.
Yeah, I'm more confident in the under than I am the outcome.
Matt Stafford's concussed, but things are not okay with the Cardinals right now.
Yep.
All right, couple more here. Dallas at Packers.
Yeah, I already said this is ridiculous. Now it's 4.5 on your screen. It was 5 when I picked. So give me Dallas -4.5, -45. I'd still take Dallas. So give me Dallas. And I just think, again, Green Bay, are they going to score at all? Their defense of the Cowboys, that pass rush is going to eat alive that offensive line and just destroy that offense completely because they don't have much in the tank, even if they were pounding it out. So give me the Cowboys -4.5 and the under in this game, because I don't think Green Bay scores anything. 38-0 Dallas.
Yep, I agree with you on that. I'm going to go the same. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott back.
Yeah.
Like that combination.
Start to finish.
Yeah, and that's what we all thought the Packers were going to be, but they just haven't had the explosive, run.
Vegas is giving the Packers way too much credit. I don't know who's in charge of the lines here, but at some point you got to see the football for what it is.
Right.
The Packers are not a good team. They suck. They should not have 3 wins.
I need to see you go through the probability process for the Bills. That would have cracked me up.
Oh boy.
You would swing it a little.
Yeah, I'm biased. That's right. You're right. I am absolutely biased toward my Bills. All
right, good Sunday night matchup. The Chargers at the 49ers. We got to see more from the Chargers.
Yeah.
49ers, a lot of people are saying, hey, they're the new Super Bowl favorite. I mean,
they might be in the NFC. They're certainly one of the strongest rosters now. And
they got to be the best 4-4 team in the league if that's the case.
Yeah, I gave them in my pick 6, the nod here. So I like them -6 there, -7 here. I like them -7. That's fine. And I will take the under in this game. I don't think the Chargers put up a lot of points. I don't think the 49ers need to put up a lot of points. They just control the game, control it on defense, score on offense, let Christian McCaffrey pass the ball, throw the ball, run the ball, kick the ball, hide the ball, sit on the ball, whatever he needs to do. The more touches a man gets, the better off you are. And the 49ers are playing it that way. So give me the 49ers.
Okay, yeah, both teams are second in their division. I think Seattle is 6-3, so San Francisco's 4-4. 2 games behind. Can't remember if they won or not. The Chargers 5-3. Kansas City's right there at 6-2. I think looking at this, I really think the Chargers need this game more. To say you could be neck and neck with Kansas City, let's say Kansas City drops one to Jacksonville, you're tied.
Yeah.
Right now you have a chance. Right? I like that, but San Francisco's a little too far behind here. So yeah, I think the Chargers need it more. What do you think?
The Chargers do need it more because they're in the AFC and they're competing with a lot more teams. San Francisco can afford to lose and still win the division, right? And be a home playoff game. But I don't think they do. I don't think that motivates them more or puts them over the top of this 49ers team. They're just a better team, in my opinion.
I'm going Chargers with the points here.
Okay.
And I know Justin Herbert hasn't been playing up to his expectations. I understand. I'm gonna go under as well. But I just think I think this game will be close.
Mm-hmm.
Lot on the line here. I think they're both gonna play hard. And
at least a fun Sunday night game to watch.
Yeah,
right.
Again, I'm just gonna take the Chargers on the upset.
Go for it.
Got to.
Another loss for you, win for me.
Yeah. Where's my coin at? All right, last one of the week. We'll talk about more, get into this game more Monday Night Live when we do our Touchback Tuesday show. We'll see what Sterling says about this. But you took the Commanders.
Yeah, I did. 11. That was, I just think, again, with the points, Commanders, I think they keep this game close because it's a divisional game. So give me the Commanders +11, and I took the under. I just think, again, both defenses are really good. Philly's capable of putting up a lot of points, but I think it stays close, in a matchup that's like 20-17 Eagles. Eagles win, but not by more than 11.
Man, this is a tough one. Commanders have been, every game they've been in with Tyler Heineke has been close.
Mm-hmm.
And they even pulled one of the upsets off, right? The last drive.
That's right.
That's okay. I'll go Commanders as well. But I think it's going to be defense. Take the under on 44. I favor the defense too much. That's why I suck at over and under. That's what wins championships.
We'll see if it pays off for you. We'll see.
Sometimes it does. Anyway, anything to add before we get out of here?
Just that in the pick 6, my top 4 are the ones that I would parlay this week. Do them for, 49ers, Saints, Titans, and Dallas. I love the parlay, 4-way parlay there. I still like the Dolphins and the Commanders, but I'm doing those as a, single bet games for sure. And of course, I'm putting a bet on Buffalo, even though I probably shouldn't this week. But, avoid that game at all costs if you're not a Bills fan and you don't have skin in the game like I do for that. But certainly should be a great week of football. Looking forward to these games, feeling confident again. Let's keep moving on up and keep the winning ways up. We've only had one losing week out of 9 weeks so far. That was week 2. Everything else has been above 500. Last week was the first 2-2-2 game. How the heck did that happen? So yeah, pretty strange. But
still waiting on that perfect week though.
That's right. We need that 6-0. Let's do it.
It's coming.
And I have the Falcons tonight. I do have a pretty good bet on the Falcons tonight, -2.5. I just think, that they need it and they'll continue to show out.
Yeah, well, the Panthers might try out their, who's going to play quarterback for them,
Yeah,
DJ Moore, Wildcat every time,
Could work.
That might work. I'd like to see Sam Darnold, honestly. But all that hype. Anyway, we'll talk to you Monday live at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling from Buffalo Rumblings joins us, and we break down all the reactions for the week, get into the storylines, recap Anthony's picks. Be sure to tune in with us there. And also see you next week for our Week 11 picks.
That's right. Week 11. Can't believe it. 10 weeks will be in the books. So fast. It flies by, man. But remember, toss your hat in the ring.